There are people in this world everyone describes as good-hearted. The kind of people who are always there when someone needs help, always willing to listen, always willing to sacrifice, always willing to give. And yet, something strange happens to them. They are often the ones who get overlooked the most. Their kindness is mistaken for weakness. Their time is taken for granted. Their sacrifices become invisible. They begin to forget their own value. Maybe you're one of them. Maybe you've spent years putting everyone else's needs ahead of your own. Maybe you've wanted to say no, but said yes instead. Maybe you've carried other people's burdens on your shoulders, only to be rewarded with silence. And if that's true, then this conversation is for you, because there is one truth most people spend their entire lives failing to understand. People do not respect you because of how much you do for them. People respect you because of how much you respect yourself. That may sound harsh, but over 2,000 years ago, the Stoics understood something about human nature that modern psychology now confirms. Human beings naturally place less value on what is endlessly available. Think about a river that never stops flowing. Most people never stop to appreciate it. But a single drop of water in the middle of a desert becomes priceless. The same principle applies to human relationships. If you're always available, always saying yes, always showing up, always trying to keep everyone happy, people slowly stop seeing your presence as a gift. They begin to see it as an expectation, not because they're evil, but because that's how human nature works. And this raises an important question. If being kind isn't the problem, then what is? The problem isn't kindness. The problem is kindness without boundaries. Stoicism never teaches cruelty. It doesn't ask you to become cold-hearted. It doesn't tell you to become selfish. It teaches something far more powerful. Do not make your soul so inexpensive that everyone can access it without paying the price of respect. And that brings us to the first Stoic lesson. Quiet, simple, yet capable of changing the course of your life. Lesson 1. The person who seeks everyone's approval eventually loses their own. Imagine a young man, hard-working, honest, compassionate. He's the kind of person everyone can count on. Friends call him. He's there. Family needs something. He's there. Extra work at the office. He's there. Someone has a problem. He's there. At first, people admire him. They appreciate him. They praise him. But over time, something begins to change. People stop valuing him the way they once did. Why? Because he slowly stops being seen as a person and starts being seen as a convenience. And there is a painful truth about human psychology. People use conveniences. They rarely respect them. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius once understood this deeply. If you spend your life living according to other people's opinions, you stop being the owner of your own life. Think about that for a moment. How many of your biggest decisions were truly yours? And how many were made because you were afraid of what other people might think? That fear is quiet, almost invisible, but it is incredibly dangerous because it slowly steals your identity. You speak, but not with your own voice. You live, but not according to your own values. And one day, you find yourself standing in front of a mirror with a strange feeling, as if somewhere along the way, you disappeared. This is why the Stoics worked so hard to break free from approval addiction. They understood that respect cannot be begged for. It cannot be earned through constant people-pleasing. Respect is born when a person learns to stand firmly on their principles, whether others agree or not. So what does this look like in practice? Starting today, try a simple exercise. The next time you're about to make a decision, pause and ask yourself one question. If nobody judged me for this choice, would I still make it? That single question can be life-changing, because for the first time, you begin to see how much of your life has been driven by expectations that were never truly yours, and how much of it belongs to you. It won't be easy, because the moment you start changing, some people will become uncomfortable. Not because there's something wrong with the new version of you, but because the old version of you was more convenient for them. The person who never said no, the person who never created boundaries, the person who always sacrificed themselves. And this is where most people turn back. They return to pleasing everyone. They return to abandoning themselves. They willingly put the chains back on, mistaking them for freedom. But the Stoic path doesn't end here, because there is something even more destructive than the need for approval. A habit so subtle that most people never notice it, yet it quietly consumes their respect, their time, their energy, and their peace of mind. And in the next lesson, we'll uncover exactly what it is. And this is where the contradiction begins. A person becomes willing to do everything for everyone else, yet struggles to do the one thing that matters most. Stand up for themselves. They fear that if they set a boundary, if they say no, if they prioritize their own needs for once, people will see them as selfish. But there is a psychological principle at work here, one that every person must eventually understand. The world learns your value less from your words and more from the boundaries you are willing to enforce. Lesson 2. What is always available rarely feels valuable. For a moment, imagine the ocean, vast, powerful, ancient. It touches countless shores, yet it never surrenders its boundaries. And because of that, it commands respect. Now imagine a small pond, one that spills in every direction, one that refuses to hold its shape. Eventually, it loses its form, its clarity, its identity. Human beings are not much different. When you're available all the time, when every text gets an immediate reply, when every request receives an instant yes, when every problem becomes your problem, people slowly stop appreciating your presence, not because they mean to, but because that is often how human nature works. The Stoics never wasted their energy fighting human nature. They studied it, they understood it, and they learned how to live wisely within it. Epictetus once taught a simple truth. If you want others to value you, first learn to value yourself. That isn't merely philosophy. It's a law of human behavior. Modern psychology calls it the scarcity principle. Things that are limited become valuable. Things that are rare become desirable. Things that are endlessly available often become invisible. The same is true of your time, your attention, your energy, and your presence. But this is where many people become confused. They believe boundaries are rude. They're not. Boundaries are simply self-respect made visible. The difference is not in the boundary itself. The difference is in how it's communicated. You can be kind and still be firm. You can be compassionate and still be clear. You can respect others while refusing to betray yourself. In fact, that is real strength. Imagine a friend who only calls when life falls apart. Every crisis, every problem, every emotional storm, you're there. You listen. You support them. You give your time, your energy, your attention, again and again. But when your world begins to shake, they disappear. At first you call it bad timing, then bad luck, then busyness. But eventually, a deeper truth begins to emerge. You never taught that person that your energy had value. You never established a boundary strong enough to communicate it. And when people are never taught where the line is, they naturally continue doing what is easiest for them. It's a difficult truth, but it is still the truth. Most people in your life are not intentionally cruel. They're simply responding to the expectations you've trained them to have. If you've always placed your needs last, the world will often do the same. If you've always treated your time as expendable, others may begin treating it that way too. This is why Stoicism teaches something profound. Keep the gates of your life open, but never leave them unguarded. At first glance, that sounds simple, But hidden inside that sentence is a lifetime of wisdom. Allowing everyone unlimited access to you is not love. Many times, it is self-neglect disguised as kindness. And self-neglect eventually transforms into resentment. You've probably seen it happen. People who spend years giving, years sacrificing, years carrying everyone else's burdens. Then one day, they explode. Suddenly the world feels ungrateful. People seem selfish. No one appears to appreciate them. But often the problem was never the world. The problem was that they never communicated their limits. They made sacrifices in silence and quietly built expectations in return. That is a dangerous bargain because the promises you made inside your own heart were promises nobody else ever heard. And this is why wise people understand the difference between sacrifice and self-erasure. Sacrifice is strength. Self-erasure is weakness. Sacrifice is a conscious choice. Self-erasure is an unconscious habit.
And the outcomes are completely different.
So here's a challenge. The next time someone asks something of you, something that could cost you your peace, your energy, or your time, don't answer immediately. Pause, sit with it, take a breath, and ask yourself one question. Am I doing this out of genuine love or out of fear of disappointing someone? The answer may reveal more than you expect, because many times we are not being kind. We are simply trying to avoid rejection. And a person who is good only because they are afraid can never experience true respect. But even after you learn to create boundaries, another trap remains. One that catches intelligent people, kind people, good-hearted people more than anyone else. It is not the trap of other people's words. It is the trap of their expectations. And before most people realize it, they spend years fulfilling everyone else's expectations without noticing the moment they stopped living their own life. And this is where another layer begins to reveal itself. A quieter one, a more dangerous one, because at this point, the problem is no longer just about pleasing people. It becomes about living inside their expectations. And expectations, on the surface, they look harmless, soft, even reasonable. But in reality, they are one of the most invisible traps a person can fall into. Lesson 3. The person who lives inside other people's expectations is never truly present in their own life. There is something most people never notice. No one ever directly tells you to abandon yourself. No one says, stop living your own life. Instead, it always sounds innocent. Just one more thing. Just help me this one time. Just don't say no this once. And it is that phrase, just this once, that slowly rewrites a life. Because every time you say yes without awareness, you quietly give away a piece of your boundary, and you don't even feel it happening. In psychology, this is known as boundary erosion. It doesn't collapse in a single moment. It dissolves, slowly, quietly, in the name of kindness, in the name of love. And one day, you wake up to a life that feels strangely unfamiliar. A life filled with other people's decisions, other people's needs, other people's expectations, and almost nothing that feels like yours. Stoic philosophy delivers a hard truth here, but one that is deeply liberating. If you make other people the center of your life, you will eventually find yourself living on the edges of it. Now imagine a person, someone who tries to meet every expectation placed on them. The perfect friend, the perfect son, the perfect employee, the perfect person. But something inside them is constantly breaking. Their identity, because every yes they give to others, is quietly becoming a no to themselves. At first it feels like love, like generosity, like being good. But over time, a subtle realization begins to surface. They are present in everyone else's story, but absent from their own. This is where psychology becomes brutally clear. There is a pattern in human behavior, the expectation trap. When someone consistently receives access to you, their mind begins to assume that access is permanent. not out of malice, but out of conditioning, and conditioning is powerful. People don't see you as a person anymore. They begin to see you as a resource, something reliable, something always available, something that doesn't require effort to reach. And the real question is not why they think that way. The real question is this: how did you teach them to see you like that? Because human beings learn through repetition. If you always say yes, the world learns to expect yes. If you always place yourself last, the world learns to place you last. This is not cruelty, it is pattern recognition. And patterns are silent, but incredibly powerful. Epictetus once said something that cuts straight through illusion. No man is free who is not master of himself. Because in most cases, people are not being forced. They are being conditioned, trained by their own habits. The habit of pleasing, the habit of avoiding discomfort, the habit of staying silent. And habits become identity, and identity becomes destiny. So here is the practical truth. If you want people to value your presence, you cannot remain completely predictable. Predictability removes psychological value, because anything that is always available stops feeling valuable. This does not mean you become distant. It means you stop being automatically accessible. You stop being an open door with no filter, because constant availability is not respect. More often than not, it quietly erodes it. Now picture a moment. You don't respond immediately. You don't say yes instantly. You pause. You think. And in that pause, you see your own life from the outside for the first time. People notice, and so do you, because suddenly you realize something powerful. Even your absence carries weight. Even your silence communicates something. But with that realization comes a fear. If I stop pleasing everyone, will I still be accepted? And this is where most people stop. They close the door. They return to old patterns. They choose comfort over clarity. But those who continue beyond this point collide with a truth that reshapes everything. Real respect begins where the courage to break expectations begins. But once you step into that space, you are no longer living in the same world you used to know. And that leads to a final question. If you are no longer living according to everyone else's expectations, then whose rules are you truly living by? And if that question truly sinks in, it doesn't just change how you respond to people. It changes the entire architecture of your life. Because at that point, the issue is no longer about saying no. It becomes something far deeper, something more uncomfortable. Who are you actually living for? External pressure or internal principles? Lesson 4. The person who does not define their own principles will always end up living inside someone else's. There is a truth most people never fully confront. Most of life's conflict doesn't happen outside of you. It happens within you. On one side, there are your desires, your peace, your boundaries, your inner voice. And on the other side, there is pressure, expectation, fear, and the quiet addiction to approval. And when these two forces collide, more often than not, approval wins. Not because it is stronger, but because it is louder. Psychology calls this social compliance, the human tendency to yield, simply to avoid discomfort, rejection, or disapproval. It is the moment where a person surrenders their power, without even realizing they did. Now imagine a scene. You are sitting in a room. Two paths are in front of you. One is easy. It keeps everyone happy. It avoids tension. It agrees, adapts, and accommodates. The other path is harder. It is quieter, more uncertain, and deeply lonely at times. But it is honest, and you already know something important. These two paths do not lead to the same place. The first path gives you acceptance, but slowly pulls you away from yourself. The second path may isolate you, but it brings you back to who you really are. Stoic philosophy has always pointed toward the second path. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is right, do it. even if people don't understand it or stand in your way. This is not a comfortable idea, because it demands something most people are not prepared to give. The need for approval, and letting go of that need feels almost like stepping outside of human instinct, because the brain is wired for connection, for belonging, for acceptance. But when that need becomes too dominant, you begin to abandon yourself just to stay included. And this is where the real shift begins. The moment you decide, I will not be universally acceptable anymore, you quietly return to your own center, and something strange happens. Some people drift away. Some people become uncomfortable. Some people stop understanding you. But something else happens too. The people who were only attached to your compliance begin to disappear, and the people who value your presence, not your obedience, begin to remain. That is the filter. That is reality revealing itself. And here is something you must remember. Respect is never earned by pleasing everyone. Respect is earned by clarity. Who you are, what you tolerate, and where you stop. These things communicate your value far louder than words ever could. Now a practical shift. The next time someone asks something of you that crosses your boundary, do not rush to justify it. Do not over-explain. Do not soften it into confusion. Sometimes a simple no is enough, because the people who respect you will understand your no, and the people who don't never truly respected your yes. And here is another psychological layer most people miss. Over-explaining weakens boundaries. The more you justify yourself, the more you unconsciously signal uncertainty, and people naturally respond to confidence, not explanation. So every time you over-explain, you unintentionally invite negotiation into a place that should have been a decision. And now one final question remains. If you stop trying to please everyone starting today, would you still recognize yourself? Or was that version of you just a role you created for other people's comfort? And at this point, that question doesn't just stay in your mind anymore. It begins to open something deeper inside you. A door, a quiet one. And through it, you finally meet yourself, without the mask, without the performance, without the noise of what will people think. Lesson 5. The person who tries to please everyone eventually loses their identity. This is where Stoicism stops being philosophy and starts becoming a mirror, a harsh one, but an honest one. Because at this stage, the question is no longer how others see you. The question is how you see yourself. In every ordinary life, there is a silent struggle happening beneath the surface. A person slowly abandoning themselves, one small decision at a time. A message replied to, a call answered, a request accepted. Just do this for me. And each time, it feels insignificant, just a small compromise, nothing serious. But psychologically, small compromises do not stay small. They accumulate, layer by layer, until one day, you look in the mirror and realize you are no longer fully recognizable to yourself. Psychology might describe this as self-fragmentation, a quiet splitting of identity into versions of yourself. One version for friends, one for family, one for work, one for strangers, and eventually, even one that feels unfamiliar to you. Now picture this, a person who is always smiling, always agreeable, always flexible, always accommodating. From the outside, they look stable, kind, easy to be around. But inside, they are exhausted, not physically, but emotionally, existentially. And the most dangerous part is this, that exhaustion doesn't show. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You must build strength within yourself, or the world will keep breaking you every day." So the real question becomes, how does inner strength actually form? The answer is almost disappointingly simple. Through small acts of honesty, small refusals, small boundaries, because strength is not built in dramatic moments. It is built in everyday decisions no one sees. Now here is an uncomfortable truth. What you call being nice is often just fear in disguise. Fear of conflict, fear of rejection, fear of being misunderstood. And because of that fear, you slowly hand over control of your life to other people's reactions. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself, how many decisions are you making just to avoid upsetting someone? And how many decisions are you avoiding just so no one gets upset with you? That imbalance slowly reshapes your identity until one day you realize your life is no longer centered around you. It is centered around everyone else's emotional comfort. And that is where the Stoic question appears. Was this the life I chose to live, or the life I slowly drifted into? Now understand this practical truth. Respect is never requested. It is never negotiated. It is built through consistently visible boundaries. Because when you repeatedly break your own limits, people don't see you as strong. They see you as flexible. And flexible people are constantly tested, not out of cruelty, but out of human nature. Now here is where the real challenge begins. Because setting boundaries is not enough. The real question is this: when your boundaries are tested, how do you respond internally? Because most people can say no on the outside, but collapse into guilt on the inside. And that guilt slowly erodes every boundary they just built. So even after they learn to say no, they remain emotionally trapped, still negotiating, still justifying, still apologizing for existing. And inside that guilt, there is a silent war being fought, a war against the self. And that war is what ultimately decides whether you become truly free or remain trapped in the identity of being nice at the cost of yourself. And this is where the real test begins, because at this point, the question is no longer whether you can say no. The real question is what you do with yourself after you say it. Because most people learn how to set boundaries, but they don't know how to survive them internally. Guilt takes over. The mind starts whispering, I was selfish. I disappointed them. I shouldn't have done that. And in that moment, a person quietly destroys the very freedom they just created. Lesson 6. If your no breaks you on the inside, then you are not free yet. That may sound harsh, but it is the truth. Stoicism is not just about action. It is about inner stability. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. But there is a deeper layer most people miss. Other people's opinions, other people's expectations, other people's disappointment. None of these are fully within your control. But your guilt, that is where the real battle begins. Because the human brain was not designed for modern social complexity. It evolved in a world where rejection meant danger. Isolation meant survival risk. So even today, when someone is upset with you, your nervous system reacts as if something is wrong, as if you are unsafe. But the truth is far simpler. Not every disappointment is danger. Most of the time, it is just misalignment, expectation versus boundary. Now imagine a scene. For the first time you tell someone no. Silence follows. Your phone lights up. Your heart starts to race. And your mind begins its interrogation. Did I do something wrong? Are they upset? Are they going to leave? And this is the exact moment most people collapse. They backtrack. They soften their boundary. They reopen access, just to silence the discomfort inside themselves. But the Stoic is not the person who simply says no. The Stoic is the person who can live with that no, without guilt, without justification, without retreating. That is self-mastery. That is emotional discipline. Now remember this. Any emotion that forces you to abandon your self-respect is not truth. It is conditioning. Guilt is not always a moral compass. Sometimes it is just old programming. Programming that says, keep people happy, avoid conflict, stay agreeable, don't risk rejection. But programming is not reality. And here is the turning point. The next time you say no, do not rush to defend it. Do not over-explain. Do not fill the silence with justification. Let the silence exist, because that silence is where your new identity is formed. At first it will feel uncomfortable, heavy, almost unnatural. But over time, that same silence becomes strength. And slowly you realize something powerful. Nothing outside of you has broken, only an old version of you has. And once that version fades, a new question begins to emerge. If you are no longer a prisoner of everyone else's expectations, then where exactly will you choose to take your life from here? And that question is no longer just an idea. It becomes a turning point, because the moment a human being is freed from other people's expectations, they are left alone with their own life for the first time. And that is exactly what most people fear, because life without noise feels unfamiliar. Decisions without approval feel heavier, and without old habits, a person can feel empty. But that emptiness is not weakness. It is space. Space for a new identity. Space for new principles. Space for a different version of you to finally emerge. Lesson 7. True respect is born the moment you start writing the rules of your own life. This is where Stoicism completes its transformation. It is no longer just about saying no or setting boundaries. It becomes something deeper. Self-governance, ruling yourself, your emotions, your time, your energy. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor, but his greatest empire was internal, and he wrote, "The quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." Now simplify that. If your life is constantly shaped by other people's opinions, you are living reactively, and a reactive person is never truly strong. They bend with circumstances. They adjust to pressure. They lose direction every time the world shifts. But when you begin to define your own principles, you stop reacting. You start choosing. You become intentional. And an intentional person is far harder to manipulate. Now imagine one final scene. The same person who once made themselves available to everyone has changed. They are no longer constantly accessible. They no longer respond to everything. They no longer carry every burden that comes their way. But something inside them is different now. There is a quiet stability, a grounded presence, because they are no longer living inside other people's lives. They are finally living inside their own. And that is what real freedom looks like. It is not loud. It does not announce itself. It is quiet, but deep and unshakable. Now understand this simple truth. People don't respect you when you try to please everyone. They respect you when you are clear. Clear about who you are, what you are not, what you tolerate, and what you refuse to accept. That clarity creates respect. Not effort, not sacrifice, clarity. And now one final reflection. Not a question, but a mirror. Are you truly being nice? Or are you simply hiding behind kindness to avoid rejection? Because if you are losing yourself just to be accepted, that is not kindness. That is self-neglect. And self-neglect never earns respect. Now, if you have reached this point, something inside you has already shifted. You are no longer the person who lives to please everyone. You are becoming someone who finally includes themselves in their own life. And that transformation is quiet, but irreversible. If this message resonates with something inside you, take a moment, not for the video, but for yourself. Acknowledge the shift, because sometimes the most important change in a human life is the one that happens silently.